He speaks to no one, yet the room listens. Machiavelli stands before the viewer, voice low and calm. Every act of seduction is an act of power. You don't win hearts, you invade them. He smiles faintly, as if confessing a crime that made him proud.
He steps closer, almost whispering, "Curiosity is the spark. You don't give her answers, you give her questions." He pauses, tilts his head. The mind chases what it can't understand.
He turns away mid-sentence, letting silence speak. The woman watches, confused, drawn in. He says softly, "Mystery is the oxygen of desire." He leaves before she answers. Now she questions herself, not him. He planned it that way. Machiavelli whispers to the audience, "Make her wonder what she did wrong, and she'll keep thinking of you to fix it." He closes the book he never opened. Seduction, he says, is not about presence. It's about control of imagination. Then he looks directly at the viewer. Once she dreams of you, you've already won.
Machiavelli stands before a mirror, half his face lit, half lost in shadow. He says, "People fall in love with themselves, not others. So I become her mirror." He adjusts his posture to match the invisible woman watching.
He sits quietly, listening as she speaks. Each nod, each sigh, perfectly timed. "She thinks I understand her," he whispers to the viewer, "but I'm only studying her rhythm."
He repeats her last words softly, not to agree, but to bind. The mind relaxes when it hears itself, he says. That's when control begins. She smiles unconsciously, believing he feels her. He stands near the window, his back turned. "I don't feel her pain," he says. "I understand it, and that's more dangerous." The wind moves the curtain. She watches him in silence. He turns, finally facing her. Now his voice changes, soft, human, believable. He whispers, "Every mirror lies, but the good ones lie beautifully." He leaves when she needs him most. No letter, no sign, just a silence heavy enough to echo. He says calmly, "The greatest noise is absence."
She replays every word he ever said, every glance, every gesture. He controls her now, not with touch, but with memory. The mind, he says, is the perfect torturer.
He walks through a corridor alone, a small smile on his face. "She thinks she's chasing answers," he whispers, "but I'm the one pulling the string." A sealed envelope arrives, empty, no words, no name. She holds it to her chest as if it were sacred. He smiles from afar. Silence speaks when you've trained their imagination. She no longer waits for him. She waits for the feeling of waiting. And that's when he knows he's won. He whispers, "He's no longer in love with me. She's in love with my absence." After a long silence, he appears again. Not rushed, not apologetic, just inevitable. "She missed me because I taught her to," he says, his tone colder than the candle flame beside him. He touches her hand once, long enough to awaken trust, short enough to create longing. "Never give enough to satisfy," he murmurs, "only enough to restart the fire." His smile isn't warmth, it's architecture. He designs it like a weapon, angled perfectly between care and danger.
She must wonder, he says, if it's love or strategy.
He gives her a token, a book, a ring, a rose, something that means nothing, so her mind can build 1,000 meanings around it. He says, never give answers, give riddles.
When she finally relaxes, he steps back. The warmth vanishes like a shadow under dawn. She'll chase that comfort now, he whispers, because she thinks it was love.
He enters the room slowly, his eyes fixed on hers, steady, patient, unblinking. She freezes mid-motion. He doesn't smile, he doesn't blink. He simply says, "See me and lose yourself." He walks closer, gaze unwavering. "The eyes," he whispers, "speak before the mouth lies." She turns away, breath trembling, and he smiles, knowing she's already listening to his silence. He lowers his gaze suddenly, allowing a single heartbeat of softness. "She must see a crack," he murmurs, "so she'll believe there's a soul to save." When she looks into his eyes again, they are no longer gentle, they command. He says quietly, "You stared too long. Now your mind belongs to me." He steps back, leaving her trembling in the silence he created. His final whisper cuts through the air. "Never touch what you already own through the eyes."
He sits beside her in silence. No arrogance, no mask. Just quiet empathy that feels real. He whispers, "They trust the hand that trembles." She smiles faintly, not knowing it's part of the plan.
He speaks of his past, not truth, but fragments designed to feel human. "I give her wounds to fix," he says, "so she never stops touching me." She opens up now, tells her secrets, exposes her fears. He listens, unmoving, every word a tool. She thinks it's connection, he murmurs. It's construction. He waits until she cries, then touches her shoulder lightly. Not to comfort, but to seal the dependency. "The moment she associates relief with my presence," he says, "her emotions obey me." The next day, he's gone. No message, no reason. She replays every gesture in her mind, desperate for that warmth again. He smiles from afar. Pain makes the bond permanent. He begins by offering stability, a pattern, a rhythm, the same words, the same tone every day. She grows used to his presence like breath itself. Addiction, he says, is just comfort repeated.
Then he breaks the rhythm. No message, no smile, nothing. Confusion becomes hunger. "She doesn't miss me," he says coldly. "She misses the pattern I designed."
He returns with warmth, exactly when her doubt peaks. The relief floods her brain like a drug. He smiles faintly. Pain first, comfort second. The oldest formula of control.
He no longer needs to demand attention. She gives it freely. Her emotions orbit him like planets around a sun. He observes and whispers, "She thinks it's love. It's programming." He disappears once more. She can't eat. She can't sleep. Her peace now belongs to his absence. "The goal," he says quietly, "is not to be loved, but to be necessary."
He doesn't announce his departure. No drama, no closure, just silence that hums. "She will fill the silence for me," he says,
and what she imagines will serve me better than truth.
Days pass. His absence becomes presence. She starts seeing him in strangers, hearing his words in others. The best kind of control, he says, is to hunt without being seen.
He sends a brief message, just his name, nothing more. It's enough to reignite her obsession. The less you give, he whispers, the more they'll invent around you.
He appears again, not in person, but in memory. She starts defending him to her friends, explaining his silence as depth. He smiles faintly. If they justify you, you own them. He is gone again, completely this time, but she's still living inside the echo he left. He looks at the viewer and says, "True power is not being remembered. It's being impossible to forget."
He stands before a mirror, his reflection slightly blurred. "She's not chasing me," he says. "She's chasing the echo I left inside her." He wipes the mirror gently. His face vanishes, hers appears.
She walks streets where he once stood, searching for his presence in air and stone. Every sound reminds her of his silence. The mind, he whispers, is the cruelest lover.
He returns not to stay, but to reset the addiction. One glance, one smile, then he vanishes again, leaving her chasing what she already had.
He no longer moves toward her. She moves toward him. He stands still, and still she comes. Movement, he says calmly, is for the weak. The powerful make others walk.
She finally realizes she's not chasing him, she's chasing freedom from him. And that's the cruelest trick of all. He looks at the viewer and says, "When they try to escape you, they prove they never will." He stands in a grand, empty hall. Candlelight flickers across the marble floor. He says quietly, "The final victory is not to win her heart, but to no longer care if you do." He looks toward the woman one last time, calm, detached, complete. The woman finally understands he was never trying to be loved. She steps forward, voice trembling. "Was any of it real?" He smiles faintly. Reality is what the weaker one believes. He turns toward the door. "Power," he says softly, "isn't what you hold. It's what you can walk away from." He walks into the light, his voice fading. "Never let them see you need them. That is your immortality." In the end, I never seduced her. I only taught her how easily she could be.